Yo, what's going on YouTube? How's it going? We got a big ass patch with a new killer and a bunch of changes to the current live killers, so we're gonna try to go through it all as much as possible. I'm gonna let you guys know what got changed and how I think that's gonna actually affect every killer, and how also I think the new killer and new perks are gonna affect the meta as well. So let's start with the live changes. Now, there is a good bit of these, so I'm gonna cover them extremely quickly just to knock them out and give you a general idea of what's happening. All right, so let's begin. Ghostface is getting minor buffs that barely matter. Chucky is getting minor nerfs that barely matter. The Lich is getting his cooldowns messed with, but this also doesn't change a whole lot. Wesker is getting a slightly fast recharge after using his power, but it's barely noticeable. Dracula is getting cooldown buffs to his wolf form, which makes his wolf form stronger, but also cooldown nerfs on his bat and vampire form, which makes them weaker. Demo goes fast as fuck while teleporting, like goddamn the speed of light, but also Lifeguard Whistle is dead. Myers is now going to stalk at a normal rate from farther away, but at close range is going to be a little under half. Also, he moves faster in tier 1, and he gets to tier 2 faster, but also his strongest add-ons are getting nerfed to the ground and they take forever to charge. Perks involving chests on both sides are getting buffed as behavior desperately is still trying to force everyone into the loot meta. Meanwhile, Weave Attunement is getting nerfed by lowering its range and also showing the survivor the aura of the item that is being dropped and affecting them so they can move it. And there is also a new map that's being tested, but it will not be released with the new patch. Whew. Okay, now that that's out of the way, we can talk about the new stuff that's really exciting too, because the new killer and the new perks are really, really sick. So there's a lot of cool stuff here to talk about, and I'm really, really excited to show you guys. So first things first, let's talk about the new killer. So she is called the Houndmaster, and you can see she's got this theme of like a Caribbean lady with a dog that she uses, obviously, because of Houndmaster, and her power is called Scent of Blood. Now, you can feel free to pause and read these paragraphs if you want every single detail, but I'm going to explain it quickly with some clips just to give you a general idea. So there's two different ways you can use the dog when it's by your side. There's chase mode and search mode. Search mode is probably the weaker of the two, so I'll talk about it first. Essentially, you can send the dog anywhere on the map, and you can actually pinpoint gens from anywhere on the map as well. And the dog will path over there and basically search for survivors. It has a small circle around it, and any survivors that enter that small circle will be revealed by Killer Instinct. There's other effects too, but honestly, they don't really matter that much. The Killer Instinct reveal is the main thing. The dog will also leave a trail behind from the path that it took to get there, and if you walk on that trail, you gain haste. It's a decent tool for getting like around the map faster. Like if you just get a hook and then you know that they're on a certain gen and you want to get there quicker, you can send the dog, follow the trail, get there quicker. The actual real ability that's actually impactful is called Chase, which is basically like a Wesker dash, but it's kind of like done by the dog. You basically send the dog out in front of you, and then you can stop it anywhere on its path and then redirect it to face another direction and send it again. And if at any point in either one of these two dashes the dog connects with a survivor, it will basically start biting him, and it'll latch onto him, and it'll start pulling the survivor like basically towards whatever direction the dog came from. And the survivor has a little bit of pullback, and essentially if they have a pallet, they can throw it on the dog and stun it. But honestly, this basically gets you a guaranteed every time. I've played maybe 10 or 12 games of this killer today to test, and I don't think there was a single situation where I got the dog to latch onto somebody and I didn't get damaged. I mean, it's possible, but this is almost guaranteed damage every single time the dog lands. It's a little clunky and hard to get used to, but it does seem pretty solid in terms of anti-loot. Alongside that, we have 3 perks. First one's called All Shaking Thunder, and it has a picture of her legs on it, so I feel like this perk is almost certainly going to be being called Thunder Thighs by everybody, including me. So we're going to call it Thunder Thighs from now on. Thunder Thighs is a perk where basically when you fall from a great height, anything that's like basically balanced landing height, you get coup de grace for 16 seconds, essentially. You get a longer lunge for 16 seconds, and then it goes on a 5-second cooldown, which is almost nothing. This is actually really useful. Very, very solid perk, because also you get multiple lunges. It's not just one lunge. Like, the whole 16 seconds, you just lunge further. And this also stacks with coup as well if you want to make an insanely long lunge. Next up is Scourge Hook Jagged Compass. This is also a pretty spicy perk. This makes it so that basically when a survivor is unhooked from a hook, it becomes a Scourge. So essentially you can create Scourges around the map in areas that maybe you want to keep repeating hooks at, which can be really, really good. Also, when you hook a survivor on a Scourge hook, the aura of the gen with the most progress is revealed in yellow for 10 seconds, so it also gives you some pretty good information. This is like kind of the information you get from barbecue sometimes, but maybe more consistent because it can't be countered by things like distortion. And then the final perk is called No Quarter, which basically is a perk that is, I mean, this is basically just Merciless Storm, but for healing is what it is. It's Merciless Storm, but for healing, but it's only on self-heals. So if you're doing a self-heal with either a med kit or self-care or Strength and Shadows or something where you're healing yourself, when you get to 75%, you get a bunch of continuous skill checks. If you fail them, you go into broken for 30 seconds. It is important to note that if you don't have hemorrhage, the healing progress will be saved when the broken goes away. Okay, that doesn't reset unless you have hemorrhage. This perk is absolutely bonkers on Doctor and or any killer with Coulrophobia or both. On the survivor side, we have Tori Kane, who seems to be like a Scottish cult member, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I don't read the lore, but she seems pretty cool. She's honestly got a pretty cool aesthetic. So her first perk is called Invocation Treacherous Crow. So this is another invocation. This is kind of interesting because there's a lot of takeaways from this. First off, you use the same circle as the previous invocation for this. You just use a different use a different button to start it, which kind of makes me feel like there might not be more invocations, because how many buttons can they use to activate invocations, right? Like, I thought there might be separate circles, but I guess it's the same circle, which is a bit odd. But just like the previous invocation, it takes 60 seconds, and also when you complete it, you get broken. But this one, the effect that you get is different. Instead of the whole gen repair thing, you get an effect where when a survivor's in the terrorist of the killer, and then the killer scares a crow, their aura is revealed to everyone for 2 seconds. And this is interesting because it feels like sometimes you get insane value where the killer is just like being revealed all the time, but honestly, in a lot of scenarios, the killer is chasing a survivor and the survivor is pissing off the crows before the killer can. So it's a little weird. I feel like sometimes this perk gets no value at all, and sometimes it feels like it's constant aura reading, so I'm not really sure how to feel about it just yet. The second perk is also a pretty interesting one. It's called Clean Break. This one is after you finish healing another survivor, it activates. And then while being healed by another survivor, you can press a button to make yourself broken and then heal over the next 60 seconds. The main problem with this perk is that it is canceled if you go into the dying state, which is really unfortunate because that makes this a very, very niche perk. Whereas otherwise, I think it would actually be very, very solid. But this still is very interesting, and I think it still has its situations where it could be good. So overall, just solid, interesting perk. And I saved the best perk for last because this is probably the most game-changing perk out of the whole chapter. I am so in love with this perk. It is so awesome. It's called Shoulder the Burden, and I think OhTofu actually might have made a video about something similar to this a while back, so that's actually kind of cool. But basically the way this works is once per trial, as long as you're not on death hook, you can use a different button to unhook the survivor on hook. And if you do this, that survivor actually loses one of their hook states and you gain the hook state. So you can basically take one of their hook stages for them to try to like help them from being tunneled, or whatever, to try to help them die slower. On top of that, you also scream and gain exposed, so it is a little risky. Like if the killer's proxy camping, you might just get one shot downed. But this is probably one of, if not the strongest anti-tunnel perks that has ever existed to this date, right? Just straight up taking an entire hook state from a survivor is absolutely bonkers, especially considering every survivor can do it once. I think at this point, I can't really explain any better, so I think it's best to just show you guys. So I'm going to do a game. I'm going to bring a Mori to show you guys what her Mori is, and we'll also run every single one of her perks, as well as Floods of Rage to go with her other Scourge hook, because actually, kind of funny enough, you can combine these, and anytime a survivor unhooks from any hook, whether it's a Scourge or not, you get Floods of Rage value, so we can kind of just hook wherever. And I'll show you guys what our kit's all about, and then at the end of the game, I will share with you guys my thoughts in terms of how this patch will affect the overall game, if you guys care enough to stick around that long. So let's go hop in game and let's see how it goes. Okay, Midwich is kind of a weird map actually, but sure, fine, it's fine. We could probably make it work. Here, first things first, let's just do search. Like here, I'll send them to, I don't know, that gen right there. Bam. It's a little bit finicky. Sometimes you gotta like aim it just right, but this one seemed to work. Again, this trail, if you follow it, she gets all giggly and you go really fast, she gets giggly, you go fast. He has this circle. The circle grows the longer he stays out. But yeah, they got to enter that circle to get detected, and that circle is pretty small. So like, honestly, that mode is like, oh, hello. I personally feel like that mode is really only useful for, oh, here, I'm gonna send a dog after this guy. Okay. He also sometimes bugs out. That was him bugging out. If he's not like directly at your side, he'll kind of bug out, which is pretty unfortunate. He does damage on windows, or sorry, he can do damage on windows. Oh, he missed. Damn. Okay, he vaults windows. If he catches you mid animation, he'll actually like do damage to you. Like here, this one. There you go. There we go. It's a little bit odd though. Like it has to be like right kind of towards the start of the animation, but it does do damage, which is pretty sick. You could also use it as just like a bang bang. Nope, not fast enough on that one. It's kind of like I said, it's a little finicky. I'm not perfectly used to it yet, so I'm not going to be playing with her, like exactly perfectly. But I'm going to try my best to do as well as I can. There we go. That grabs her. Oh, it's funny that I said out of all my games, I don't think it's like they've been able to avoid damage ever with pallets, but they kind of did it right there somewhat. I mean, I still ended up hitting them, but they actually did manage to throw the pallet and kind of be on the right side of it. So that was like the first time I've ever seen that. We'll hook her. Doesn't necessarily have to be on a Scourge because of our other Scourge. See, we get Floods of Rage, right? See? You see how we got Floods of Rage? That's why this fucking perk combo is kind of gross. That being said, I don't know what the hell my boy Pim Daddy was doing, so I'm just going to take the free hook and I'll just... You know what? I'll make... No, I kind of want to see what Jen has the most progress. See, I can get value out of my other Scourge if I now hook. And if you notice, we now have 5 Scourge. We now have 5 Scourges too. Which is also pretty crazy. Because now you just get more Scourges. See, now we can send the dog over there. Again, it's a little weird. There we go. We'll send the dog there. That gets us there a little bit quicker. I think this is the main use of the search, honestly. It's just getting around the map quicker. Didn't quite get there in time to... Oh, that was Floods of Rage. Didn't quite get there fast enough to, like, stop the gen, but still. I still do enjoy the haste. Okay. Nice. So again, it's kind of like, again, it plays a lot like a Wesker dash that you kind of just like send manually, you know? That's a lot of like what this killer is, but it's also like much longer range too. I'm gonna delay it and then I'm gonna send it. And there's the kill. I mean, this is a pretty unfortunate map because Midwich I feel like is really strong. Like, it might look like this killer is like wild and has like very little counterplay based on how these chases are going. But keep in mind, the survivors are still adapting and figuring out how to deal with it. And also, this map is not really the best for this, because this is definitely one of those killers where like it's very beneficial to like leave. You know what I mean? Oh, hello. Like if I'm like sending my dog, sometimes you just want to like leave the tile, and you can't really leave the tile very well on this map. So like that kind of hurts it a bit. I'm gonna send it. Well, I was gonna say that works. We can just get the straight on hit. There we go. Goodbye to you. Also, if they end up using the whole like burden perk or whatever, the anti tunnel perk, we'll see it on the HUD, by the way. This guy is dumb as hell, bro. This guy is dumb as hell. What the, like, bro, come on. Like, I know this is PTB, but like, what the hell are you doing? We're making a lot of Scourge hooks, by the way. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's funny, we have 5 Scourge hooks, but I don't think we had any in range still. Because, you know, just Midwich things. Just Midwich things. They healed under hook. So I know that they're over here somewhere. What if I can just get the dog on them? Oh, no, not quite. I knew they were over here because they healed. I wasn't sure if I can get the dog. I barely had any vision of them, but I thought maybe I can get lucky and get the hit anyway. Puppy go. Oh, he kind of got stuck for a second. Nice. Oh, he actually got the back guy. Nice. And Pimp Daddy died. It's not like he was really contributing much anyway. Oh. Also, oh yeah, this is also an important thing to say. He kind of slides. Like you can kind of slide. If you can see like the path, it kind of slides off walls and stuff, right? Like he doesn't necessarily, like, for instance, I can throw him like this and he'll go. That almost got him. But he'll kind of go around like solid walls somewhat, but then still end up going the same direction that you originally are facing, right? Like he'll like eventually when he stops going around things, he'll still just go in a straight line, whatever direction your screen is pointing. So like it's a little like weird, but you can use like right here, he'll go to the window. I can redirect him, and then I can grab him, and then bam, he's dead. Right? Like you can do cool stuff like that, right? And there's a lot of interesting things you can do with it, right? It's a very like this killer's power in general is really neat. It's definitely like I can see there being a really, really high skill ceiling. I will say I think the skill floor is decent too, right? Like I think learning this killer is a little awkward. Like it's a little awkward at first to kind of get used to how his power works, or her power works, I should say. But once you get it, it feels really rewarding. It feels strong. I'll say from the survivor side, so far it hasn't felt like unfair yet to me, but also like that could change. Nice, nice. Oh, she getting dragged. She getting dragged. But I mean, like the dog latches onto you for so long that like you're almost. Is she Moriable actually? Hold on a minute. No, she's not Moriable. Oh yeah, you can see Dark Like Darko use that perk. That's why there's that one little tick there. That like FYI, that doesn't mean that he has exactly one stage. That just means that he took somebody's stage. So maybe it was hers. I don't know. I mean, I guess it must have been, right? So yeah, I think he must have took her hook stage earlier. Is that on hook right here? Am I dumb? I didn't really need to use the dog there, but you know what? Why not? You know, why not, dude? Why the fuck not? All right, here as well. I'll send him here. I'll redirect him. If he would have stayed in the locker, that actually would have been pretty good, but he jumped out a little prematurely. Oh, here's the Mori. Okay, sick. Perfect. Oh, is it going to be censored? No, not really. No, not really. Actually, no, not really. Well, kind of. A little bit censored. Oh, scary face. Yeah, no, not censored enough. Yep, nope, not censored. Not censored enough. That's still pretty fucking brutal. That's still pretty fucking brutal. That's, you know, I thought it was gonna be censored, but yeah, no, you pretty much get the full gist of it. Oh, hello, Fang. Oh yeah, they also can help get the dog off of each other though, but I do feel like that hasn't seemed to be that useful yet. Nice, good boy. Oh, this Fang's done with it all, dude. She's done with it all. All right, time to. I'm gonna see if I can carry her somewhere where we can maybe see the Mori. This map is so bad for Moris. Maybe right here? I don't know. The courtyard would be ideal, but we're too far away. I guess right here. I think this map is bad for Moris. There's too many walls everywhere, man. Nice. No, this is good. You see the old cane stomp? Bruh. Like, what's sad to me is like that Mori is so like brutal. Like that stomp is so brutal. But I already know that the entire DBD community is just gonna turn this into like a fucking step on me mommy bullshit. Like you already know, right? Like, God, it's so brutal. Like I think it's a sick kill. But I already know that like the fucking community is gonna take it in that direction. Like I already know it, you know, and it's gonna ruin it for me. And I already know that, and I hate it. I hate it. GG's. I mean, this was PTB matchmaking. I'm only going to give you guys one game because this game literally took me like 30 minutes to find. And I don't, the queues are brutal. I don't really want to wait through them again. So I think this was a good enough showcase. Hopefully you guys got a pretty good idea. And yeah, GG's. So in terms of this overall patch and how I feel about it, I think this is going to be a really, really good positive patch for the game. I think that there's nothing really negative in the patch. I just think some of the positives could have been more positive, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, for instance, the new killer is phenomenal, and I think they're going to be a great addition to the game. All the new perks, I think, are really impactful and are going to change up the meta in, I think, really interesting ways. Like, the Myers change is phenomenal, and he's going to feel like a brand new killer, which I think is awesome. But again, a lot of the other changes, and again, a lot of the other changes that are small are still good. Like I like Wesker's changes, I like Vecna's changes, but then stuff like Chucky got these like minor buffs that were or these minor nerfs that were barely anything. They made his 10-second cooldown a 12-second cooldown, which like 2 seconds doesn't really do much of anything. And they nerfed rat poison a little bit, but it's still gonna be the same. Like it's still gonna be super busted, and it's still gonna be really not fun to go against. So it doesn't really solve it. Right? Like there's like little things like that I just wish were a little bit more heavy-handed, but for the most part this whole patch is going to be really, really solid. I think the anti-tunnel that's going to come through from Shoulder the Burden is going to be nuts. So if you're a Survivor player that doesn't like tunneling and you wish you had more to help against it, I think this is going to do a lot for you. That being said, it is still solo queue, so if you shoulder the burden for a bad player, they might still just go down in 10 seconds, so it might not... It won't be like the cure-all, right? I mean, matchmaking might still fuck you over, but I think assuming your team is at least, like, moderately okay, shoulder the burden, I think it's going to do wonders for anti-tunnel. It's going to be an insanely good perk. So I'm really excited to see how that goes, and again, new killer is great. I think there's a lot of synergy with the new killer perks. This is going to be a really, really solid patch. I'm super excited for it. Let me know your guys' thoughts. I'm really curious how you guys feel about all the changes. Is there something that I maybe am sleeping on in terms of its impact? Is there something that maybe I'm missing that I haven't talked about? Let me know. I don't know. I'm very, very curious to see how people are feeling about this. Leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe as well if you want. I'm going to be uploading more again. I know I've been a bit absent, but I'm going to be back to uploading more consistently soon. And thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. And until next time, I'm out of here. I'll see ya. I'll take care. See ya. See you later. See ya.